guard notices that two of his co-workers have been killed. The assailant approaches him, looks him in the eye, but he just becomes another victim to this cybernetic madman. Who is he? And what does he want? Welcome, Level 6 agents. This is issue number 1 of the Bionic Man, entitled Flight of the Daedalus. So let's begin. A group of scientists are experimenting with a new chip on a cybernetic arm, but their work is soon cut short. The cybernetic terror kicks through the wall, and he lays waste to all the scientists, leaving none alive. He walks to the computer, takes out the chip, but he's not done there. He punches through the glass, takes out the cybernetic arm, and rips it apart. Now we know why he's here. But what does he want the chip for? Meanwhile, at the Taft Experimental Airfield, General McClintock is waiting on the test pilot, Steve Austin, to show up for the flight. But Steve Austin is late, and the general is not happy. Soon, Oscar Goldman walks up and tells the general just to relax. Austin will be there. Besides, he was the one that wanted Austin to do this test flight anyway. Then they get into a small debate. Oscar thinks that drones are the way to go, while General McClintock thinks man flights are still the way to go. He'd rather have the finger of a man on the trigger than the drone, because a man can make a decision. But anyway, Oscar assures the general that Steve Austin will be there, and that Steve Austin is the best, bravest pilot that he has ever seen. So Steve is getting ready for his test flight, and Jamie has to get ready to go to school to teach her class. But Steve is a little nervous. He comes out of the bathroom, and Jamie walks in, and she says, "Jesus, Steve, what died in you?" And he lets her know he's just a little nervous about the test flight today. So Steve asks Jamie, "Why don't you skip class and come watch me fly today?" And Jamie responds, "Why don't you skip flying and come watch me teach my class? It's much safer." But anyway, they tell each other they love each other and talk about their plans one day to get married. So Jamie takes Steve over to the airfield, and before Steve gets out, she grabs him and makes him promise that everything is going to be okay, that he's going to come back to her alive. So Steve says, "Yes, I will. I promise. I'll be careful." He gets out of the car, and he walks towards the hangar. So as Steve approaches the hangar, Oscar is standing there, and he tells Steve, "Steve, you're 45 minutes late." And Steve says, "Really? I thought it was early." But anyway, Steve doesn't care. Oscar doesn't care. But General McClintock is not happy. He tells Austin, "Austin, this is the last time." But Austin just kind of brushes it off. He just says, "Really?" He said, "I'm touched that you're here. I'm really deeply moved, sir." But anyway, they make preparations for the test flight. But Oscar gets a phone call concerning what happened at the laboratory with the scientist and the watchman. So after a short physical by Rudy, Steve gets suited up. He boards the Daedalus. He fires up the engines, and he takes off into the upper stratosphere. Everyone watching, hoping for the best, hoping that this test flight goes well. Oscar arrives back to the laboratory where these atrocities took place. He's talking to another agent, and the agent is letting him know what happened. That the assailant took a subfusion chip and took some data from the computers. But Oscar asks a question. Is it the same MO as we had back at Langley and at NORAD? And the agent responds, no guns, all edged weapons, swords apparently. And he tells him about the night watchman that was killed. And the agent also tells him that the cybernetic prototype arm was destroyed. So it seems like Oscar knows who committed these crimes, who stole the technology from this laboratory. So they continue their investigation. So the test flight seems to be going well for Steve. The plan is for him to reach Mach 8, hit the upper stratosphere, cut systems, wait 6 minutes, re-engage systems, and come back in. And that's exactly what Steve does. He is up there waiting to re-engage systems. But then, something goes wrong. Control tells Steve, Steve, do not re-engage. Repeat, do not re-engage. Steve says, I'm not due to re-engage for another 4 minutes. Colonel Austin, that's a negative. You have a fuel leak in your exhaust. Do not re-engage. Then it happens. The Daedalus bursts into flames. Austin says, Control, I have flames in here. I'm losing altitude. Eject, Colonel Austin, now! Negative, Control. My eject is jammed. I'm losing it. I can't hold it. She's breaking up. She's breaking up! Okay, that will do it for issue number 1 of the Bionic Man. Tune in next week and we will delve deeper into what happens to Steve Austin in issue number 2. Now I'd like to take this time to give a shout out to BionicFans.net. They have a Facebook page. Check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. That's BionicFans.net. All kinds of news regarding the $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman. If you love it, then check it out. I'm sure you'll like all the information that's in there. So until next time, agents, let's keep it classified.